Hey guys, it's Kelly Ray. I just shared a Gary Vee video actually, which is weird. I don't usually share his stuff. He swears so much. But it was so funny. One of my clients actually sent it to me, and you know who you are. Awesome. Thank you for sharing. It's almost crazy to me how things line up so obviously for me during the week. With clients, I tend to see these common themes, and if I talk to 20, 30, 50, 1,000 business owners, almost every one of them will have the same challenge that week. So I have to talk about having a person in your business that is not on board, who's not got your company's best interests at heart, or they're not able to put their personal agenda aside and really have that positive attitude that you need. So we're going to talk about two ways. First of all, don't hire that person. And then the second part, how to help them get better or how to terminate that person. So there are so many different examples of how a person who's negative or not in line with your values or your culture statements can negatively affect your company. The direct problems, the obvious problems, are if you have a customer complaint. I don't know about you, but it's not often that I actually complain to a business owner. So if I go into a store and I experience a staff member who's not very pleasant, I might not go back, but I don't tell the business owner, I'm not coming back and here's why. And I think many people are like that, especially Canadians, we're famous for being so apologetic and so polite. I don't know a lot of people who just tell every business owner, your employee was rude to me, that's why I won't be back. And if you're wondering why I'm at the office at 8:25 recording this video, it's because you guys like to watch videos at 8:25, so thank you for that. Tara tells me what time to do my videos every week. So first of all, you're not going to know how they're really affecting your business negatively. There's so many different ways. So number one, you'll hear a direct customer complaint. You'll see a negative Facebook review. You'll see a negative Google review. You'll get an email from a customer. Or maybe somebody will come up to you in the store and say, hey, your employee was rude to me. That's the most obvious thing, right? But that rarely ever happens. You're rarely ever going to have somebody say, I was at your store and I got a really bad vibe from your employee, so I'm not going to come back. That just doesn't happen. So a lot of the time that's happening and you don't know about it. And a lot of people don't come back to your store or your business if they feel like your staff member isn't nice to them, or if they feel like they don't get good customer service. How many stores have you gone into in the last few years where someone's texting on their phone and they don't even say hi to you? I don't know about you, but I don't usually tend to frequent those stores. I like to go where people make me feel appreciated and are kind and pleasant, right? And in your business, if you have worked hard to build a culture and have a set of values and sort of a way of living that you want your staff to follow, if that person's not following those when you're not around, they're directly going against your plan. They're directly going against the promises you've made to your customers. They're teaching your other team members that, you can act like this and get away with it. So they're affecting your clients, but also they're affecting your team. And that is really the most dangerous part, because turnover is incredibly expensive. I don't think you have any idea how expensive your turnover really is unless you take a spreadsheet and you calculate all the training costs, all the opportunity costs, the time that you and other key leaders spent training when you could have been out earning lots of money or doing a more valuable activity. The cost of other staff, not feeling motivated or engaged, or, the cost of other staff not believing your culture statements anymore. Well, Kelly Ray says that we're all positive and kind around here, but that employee was rude to me and nothing happened to her, so I guess that's all, BS. I guess we don't have to be nice to each other. And you have to remember that as a leader, everyone's watching you. Like, you're role modeling whether you want to be or not. So if you let things slide, if you let people act negatively, or you let people, be rude or not follow your culture statements or listen to your value statements, you're teaching people that that's okay. And a lot of the times you're not going to know about it. So you have to get proactive. You have to ask your staff how they're doing. You have to ask your staff, what would you change if there was something you would change? What have you noticed that could be improved? Ask them questions, and also teach them that when they give you feedback, you listen. And with clients too, you want to ask clients, especially your favorite clients, your ideal clients, check in once in a while. How do you feel when you come in the store? Do you love the team? Like, is there anybody that stands out more than others? That sort of thing. And also look at customer satisfaction scores per employee. And another thing I love to do is do team feedback. be careful with this one. Some people have done it really well. Some other people have had trouble with it. But if you're very transparent about the whole process and you tell the whole team, we're going to have a KPI, a key performance indicator, a rating scale, and that KPI is about being a team player. And every month, every staff member is going to get a questionnaire, and it's going to ask, how did you feel about working with Kate this month? How did you feel about working with Chris this month? How did you feel about working with Kelly Ray this month? And on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being a super duper team player, having everyone's best interests at heart, following the culture statements, and 1 being awful to work with. And very quickly, if you tell your staff that, basically they have to get an 8 out of 10 every month, which means people have to like them and think they're a team player, you start to see people actually think before they act and actually think before they talk. And, asking, can I get a copy of those culture statements? Because people don't have those memorized if you're not really living that, teaching it, like bringing their attention back to it. So totally got off on a tangent there. I'm pretty passionate about this stuff, but actually I had a conversation with a client the other day, and they thought I was going to say, I told you so, because I told them months ago, you need to fire this person. They're not getting on board with your values. They're not listening to you. They're not doing the things that you're saying your company is about. And they put it off, and something really, really, really bad happened with the other staff members. And when they called, I said, I'm not going to say I told you so, but it's unfortunate that it takes an event like this to really kick you in the butt. What is that bottom for you? What has to happen for you? Do you have to lose your key employees? Do you have to have other employees come to you crying? Do you have to have somebody write on Google, your employee was rude to me? Don't let it get that far. Be more proactive, check in, get feedback, take the temperature, and make sure that people are living your culture statements. And if they're not, and they're not willing to get on board, you have to liberate them and let them go somewhere else where it's more fitting for them. And lastly, when you're hiring, you really have to be a good detective and a good investigator when you're hiring. Look at your hiring process. Look at every step of it and ask yourself, if you do end up with somebody like that in your culture and unfortunately have to terminate them, before you hire again, look at your process and say, what can I add to this process that if I do it, will weed out that same quality in the future? We came up with a really great idea the other day. One of my clients was here, and we talked about one of her staff has challenges with, conflict, sort of. There's always a lot of conflict. And so we were thinking, sort of brainstorming, and we thought, well, if we asked about her personal life, maybe if we asked, give me an idea of how your relationships are, or maybe tell me more about your husband, that sort of thing. We would really look for opportunities to discuss conflict with the person, and then we would offer them the opportunity, okay, what could you do better in that situation? And if you get a person saying, oh, I couldn't do anything better, that's not me, that's on them, you really want to start to watch for that. Those are big red flags. And if you really have deep, authentic conversations with people in interviews and you give them opportunities to take ownership, to be coachable, to be positive, to show what they value and what they believe in, you will get to know them and you will be able to not let them into your organization. One more thing, you cannot wait until you need someone to hire. This is one of the biggest things my clients put off, and I wish they would listen. I see some clients listening, so listen. You cannot wait until you need to hire to start looking for good candidates. You should be building a pipeline of candidates the way that you're building a pipeline of work. You don't just do the work, you also look for more work to do after you do this work, right? So you should always be looking to meet good people, because if you're doing your business well, you're growing, right? And not only growing, but people get sick, people get hurt, people quit, people win the lottery, people don't come in, you're going to need new people, and you want to always be looking to meet good people. So then you have a couple people in mind if you do need somebody, and you're less likely to hire that really toxic person if you're not desperate. Because we all know when we really, really need somebody today and we have a candidate come in and we're like, they're okay, it's not a good hire. It's never a good hire. So I really hope that helps. Be more proactive. Make sure you're really clear about your culture statements. If you can't get that person to get on board with your culture, you got to get rid of them. And then try to prevent those kind of people from coming in the future. And by improving your hiring process. So I hope that helps, and I hope you guys are having an awesome week. It's almost the weekend, so have a good weekend too.